Welcome back. Lobo Project, episode 41. I am your host, Mike Robertson, joined as always by Mike Taylor. Mike, could you have thought of a more Christmassy episode to air in January of the following year?
No. Yeah, that's a really good point. Juvenile rehabilitation programs, a dad and a son after the same woman,
whatever the hell that third story was.
Yeah, this was something, and you know, we do say that quite often, but this is something special here in its awfulness.
So for you audio listeners, we would recommend that you at least check out the YouTube for a minute, because as we have promised over the course of the last couple months, once we discovered that there was no proper Love Boat Christmas episode for season 2, which I still do not understand. It just feels like the easiest thing in the world to do.
Mm-hmm.
We declared that our final episode before Christmas 2024 would be the Christmas episode.
Ho, 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 people.
We are dressed accordingly. And it is much cooler here in the studio than it was last year when I had to wear this hat.
What, in July? When we were dying.
Yeah,
Christmas in July, not meant for Santa Claus hats.
Much appreciated there. But I was thinking, like, you know, you can kind of shoehorn something Christmassy, even though they don't know it's our Christmas episode, obviously. You could stretch something, right?
Something.
You kind of did the synopsis already. This is as un-Christmas an episode as you could possibly have.
Whatever the opposite of Christmas is this episode right here.
This is a episode which we have not seen, in that it was Love Boat getting serious, but not too serious.
No. Yeah.
Stuff. It wasn't like the Sandy Duncan episode or things like that, right? They didn't go too much.
Mm-mm.
And there were some phrases in this episode that really took me aback.
Oh yeah, I made some notes. I took notes of some of these phrases, and I kind of attributed to like sign of the times.
Yeah.
But it was still a little, not shocking, but I was just like, whoa, where did that come from?
Especially because a lot of these phrases came up in the first half of the episode, which, as we will find out in a few minutes, was in the 8 o'clock hour. But we'll get to that. Tonight, we are here to talk about the very un-Christmas-like episode of Love Boat Season 2, Episode 16,
Oof.
Second Chance, Don't Push Me, and Like Father, Like Son. Original air date was January 27th, 1979. So yeah, a month and 2 days after the Christmas holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Very un-Christmassy.
Very un-Christmas-like.
Synopsis, Mike kind of hit it already. Isaac worries that young Stephanie, on probation for shoplifting, and now working at the gift shop, might have stole some jewelry. That's kind of rehabilitation at its finest right there.
Yeah.
Henpecked Fred feels like his girlfriend Christine is pushing him into marriage. That is an explanation. I watched this thing twice. I still don't know what that was about.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that, because I felt the same way. I was like, well, maybe the second time around it'll make... And then the second time around, honestly, I was a little more like, than I was the first time. Because I expected to gain clarity. Zero clarity was gained on that crazy story. It is a synopsis, but I have no idea if it belongs.
Put it this way. My wonderful wife almost made a 5-minute pre-tape to try and explain what she thought was happening, but she didn't agree. It was just as wild. She also happened to see the really most dramatic part of the third story, which is Woody and Alan. Woody is a widower. Alan is his son. Fall for the same woman, which is technically true, but there's a lot of baggage in between there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And the synopsis fails to mention the real star of this thing, which is Woody's robe.
Oh, Woody's robe's amazing.
We'll get to that.
You know, and the cologne. So,
yeah, today's episode is sponsored by Macho Beast cologne.
The cologne that comes in a giant bottle.
Yeah, like a Mrs. Butterworth bottle or something.
It really is. It really is. I was looking at it and I was like, good Lord. It came in like a maple syrup bottle. Oof.
Yeah, as we can talk about it when we get there, but it doesn't really matter. As someone who has not ever worn cologne on any kind of regular basis, when I did, it was those very small guys.
Yeah.
So when you see these 70s colognes and they're like, smaller than an Oscar.
It's like an aquarium. Unbelievable.
What else is on? This is always one of our favorite segments. And as I mentioned, Love Boat was on at 8:30. We'll get into why.
Yeah, 8:30. That's an odd.
It is an odd.
At the half past 8. That's okay. That's weird.
That does give us a chance to dip our toe in to see what Ponch and John are up to.
Oh, boy.
Over at Chips from 8 to 9. Looks like John and Ponch are trying to help out a fellow officer who's kind of not thrilled about his upcoming retirement. Sounds a lot like that Abe Vigoda storyline.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. Was he? Yeah, that's okay. Like he doesn't want to retire? Is it one of those, or is it like a Murtaugh? I'm too old for this kind of deal.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're barely motorcycle cops anymore. So,
well, last week, remember they were undercover. Like, and you even said, you're like, well, do they ride civilian bikes now if they're undercover? Great question.
I failed to mention the title, The Matchmaker, which is even less relevant to his retirement. He probably is just trying to hook up with some lady.
It's not a good slow sax on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I was going to say, but he's just that slow sax. Yep. 9 p.m. on NBC, we have a real movie, The Sentinel. Not the Centennial, not our friends from Colorado.
Oh, I got excited.
I don't know. We going back? We might go back.
I would never go back. Yeah.
I don't know. What happened to Colorado? We'll never know.
It just disappeared.
The Centennial is a movie that we have kind of had a couple times before and definitely had a bunch of times since. It's a haunted apartment building. Basically.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Young woman moves into a apartment. Turns out the building is filled with evil. Starring Christine Rains, who I have no idea who that is, and then a Boffo backup cast here: Ava Gardner,
nice,
Chris Sarandon, Lord Humperdinck himself, and Burgess Meredith.
Ah, come on, this is a great movie.
And this was made in 1977, so that is like right out of Rocky. Burgess went to go haunt an apartment.
It seems like a weird movie choice for mid to end of January, like as far as subject goes. I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily a subject that goes with the month of January, but it just seems like more of a Halloween sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's only a year and a half old means it's probably like that's pretty. You don't forget
that's pretty new.
Old days, yeah. You never got turnaround like that.
Well, this is before HBO or anything, so I wonder what the waiting period. There was no rentals either. So I wonder what that second market was.
Well, what's the deal? Like video stores, right? Even the worst movies were 6 months to a year after they
went
in the theater. Yeah, so
because there was that big countdown that would come. Oh, when's it coming out? And Blockbuster would have the sign. And but here, if there's no home video, right, and there's no pay movie channels, I wonder. You're saying the 2-year thing. It does seem like a quick turnaround. I wonder what that. For like a Blockbuster, I wonder how that works or worked back then.
Well, and I didn't go into the when it was released in 77, but we're only in January 79 here, so
it's brand new.
It might be way less than 2 years.
It's interesting.
So
interesting.
Probably doesn't speak to the quality of
Centennial. No, not an Oscar-winning picture.
Over on CBS, we have the much better option, a TV movie.
Ooh,
this one I think. As I was writing up the synopsis, I think this one goes high on the list of that Patreon project of ours.
Oh, I'm all ears.
This one's called Murder by Natural Causes.
Oh, I love the title. Okay.
Allison, the unfaithful wife of a famous mentalist who has a heart problem.
Wait. Hold on. She's married to a mentalist, like a Kreskin kind of guy,
right? Who
with a heart problem.
Has a heart problem.
Okay.
She tries to entice her lover, but she's unfaithful. Tries to get her lover to scare him to death. Problems ensue when he tries to scare him to death.
How would you go about scaring somebody to death? I mean, I know like Boo sneaking up on somebody.
Right? So it's just a lot of like.
You just need to know how much you have to scare him to kill him.
Would you like some peanut brittle? Like a lot of that kind of stuff. Starring Catherine Ross.
Okay.
Richard Anderson, not Richard Dean Anderson.
Oh, not Matlock, huh? Okay.
Richard Anderson, who actually will end up on this boat here in a couple weeks.
Lucky us.
And the mentalist with the bad ticker.
Vincent Price with no mustache. Who is it?
Hal Holbrook with a mustache.
Wow. No. Strong mustache on Mr. Holbrook, by the way.
Yeah. Well, he's probably coming off a Mark Twain performance.
Theater. I wonder if we'll ever see him on the Love Boat. I wonder if he's too big.
It feels like that kind of thing where if the Love Boat went to like 1988, him and old Dixie Carter would have gotten on together. You know?
That makes sense.
I'd love to see Hal Holbrook, but he might be too good.
I think he might be too good.
He might be way too good.
He would be so good. Ugh.
But like I said, 8:30 for the Love Boat this week. Fantasy Island followed at 9:30. So what kind of bookended the spelling juggernauts on Saturday night?
Mm-hmm.
At 8 o'clock, Delta House.
Are
you familiar?
Wait, is this the Animal House? No. This is before Animal House, right?
It is the Animal House TV series.
By National Lampoon?
So if I remember correctly, the story is that, because Animal House was such a success, they basically tried to turn it into a TV show.
Sure.
I don't think any of the writers got involved. Bruce McGill is listed in here, and I think the Dean is in there.
Dean Wormer?
Yeah, like a couple people, but they didn't get the main cast, obviously. I don't think it lasted very long. I intended to look and see if it beat American Girls, but they may be in the same plane. So
it's interesting because I wonder if they just took like the cast of characters. I'm wondering if they recast.
Yes, I guarantee that's what they did. That's what you did back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have some knockoff Tim Matheson, I'm sure.
Knockoff John Belushi, that's no good.
You'd almost be smarter writing those. I guess there's a world where they
it's his
those
brother,
left, right?
Yeah, I'm D-Day's little brother, lowercase D-Day. You could do so many things.
It's just Jim Belushi.
It's just
at 10:30.
Yeah.
This is definitely the weirdest programming we've had on this.
It's late for a 30-minute show. Okay.
It is. So what are you thinking? It's going to be raunchy, maybe? A little sexy?
You'd think sexy? Maybe.
Disco?
No.
Maybe hot disco or something like that?
I bet you can be the tamest thing in the world.
Well, calm down. It's a Saturday night in January. It's time to sit down with your special someone and watch the Republican response to the State of the Union address. On
a Saturday night? Was the State of the Union even on Saturday?
No, it was Tuesday. I looked it up. I'm like, wait,
what? They gave him days to come up with a response and put it on who's watching at 10:30 on a Saturday night?
The only thing I can think. No, I looked it up. I'm like, did Jimmy Carter go long or something like that?
What, till Friday morning? Like, what did he go till Saturday morning?
Filibustered. Jimmy Carter only had a 32-minute speech.
Is that a lot shorter? Or were they normally about an hour, right?
Well, now they're much longer, but that was generally they were 30 to 40 minutes back then, and then they slowly increased, over the years.
I wonder if it's TV
now they're
did
an
that
hour.
Too.
I think Clinton was always an hour, and then since then it's always been over an hour.
Sure.
The fact that they ran it on Saturday night at this time makes me wonder. You probably have to run it.
I see. Just bury it. Yeah.
But usually the way that works, even today, I think, is they have the speech and then they have the rebuttal. So I almost wonder if ABC either went to something else. It's like we got to show Mork and Mindy. There's no time for this.
Well, unless they gave him like 3.5 days to come up with a response. Well, let me ask you this: was it on every channel at 10:30?
It was not, because we have those movies on the air channels. That's the
So
other
that's weird. Why would they? But maybe like you
ABC,
said, you have to put it on. But
ABC has the powerhouse lineup, right? So maybe their Tuesday they made a decision. It is funny though. I was like 8:30. It was hysterical. Like I was.
Why not put that on first? Oh, you know why? Because they're like, entertainment's over, people. You can turn off the TV now. Just what a terrible lead-in for the 11 o'clock news on a Saturday evening.
What a weird. I should have looked into what Fantasy Island was, because it's like, man, I'm all hot and bothered by Delta House, Love Boat, and Fantasy Island. How to unwind.
That's an abrupt change of gears. Just whoa. Okay.
Plus, I mean, really, by 79, the rebutting Jimmy Carter was kind of getting easy. Like,
I mean, it wasn't
a tough time.
Exactly. We're coming up on Reagan. Of course, I'd be curious to. Wow, that's wild. Okay.
So yeah, that was what was on. So yeah, I think the winner is Murder by Natural Causes. But we could do the State of the Union.
His first point that evening was,
welcome back. State of the Union.
All you news geeks out there, All
right, let's get into the credits for this week. It's a very interesting cast. Only one returning champion, which at this point is not necessarily the norm. Kathy Lee Crosby plays Libby Hall.
Yep.
I think you would probably concur that you know her best from That's Incredible.
Yes. I have something right up there along with That's Incredible.
Well, you
but
do yours,
mainly,
and then I'll see if it's different than mine, because I learned a very interesting fact about her that I did not know.
Now, you saying that, I have two interesting facts. So I think I'm going to try to not match your fact right now and see if we can do this.
Okay.
The fact I'm going to share is that she was a guest commentator for WrestleMania 2.
Oh, I forgot about that. Was that California that she do? No, that was Mary Hart. Right?
Mary Hart.
So was she New York?
She must have been New York. I can't imagine was she Chicago. Susan St. James was New York.
Vince
in
New York. Chicago. Chicago was that weird one because of the football players.
Was it Lord Alfred Hayes?
Yeah, they were really
horrible battle royal, by the way. Not that we're here to just the worst battle royal I've ever seen. And Hogan Bundy is the main. Anyway, we could go into crazy detail here, but
good for you though, I had forgotten about her.
Yeah, I remembered that, and then I think I know what your other fact is, but maybe not. We'll see.
I did not know that not only was she a tennis player, but at one point reached number 7 in the world rankings.
That is
true. I had
true.
No idea.
I didn't either. I did read that, although that's not my fact.
Oh, so we have like 10,000 facts about Kathy Lee Crosby.
Well, it was funny because I do remember her from That's Incredible, right? So I was like, why is this person famous? And I found something interesting here. She was the original Wonder Woman on TV. She did the TV movie / pilot. She was then replaced by Linda Carter. Wow. And so I'm watching this and I'm going, I get much more Wonder Woman vibes from Linda Carter, and maybe I'm biased because
it's
growing up with her,
different, right? And it's not like they look the same or
no,
going in a different direction. I thought she was. It's funny because I know they're not the same show, but it's the same idea. She had a very first appearance Gary Collins charm about her.
I agree. She's very likable,
very effortless.
Yeah. She definitely has that weird charisma. She has a presence. There's just something. I agree.
And listen, that is. I actually thought all 3 of those people were very good in what was a very weird storyline.
Just crap story. Yeah.
Speaking of weird, second person in the portals, Virginia Graham.
So glad you brought this up.
This is the second time this season, and I think second time ever, that we have had a portal person which, theoretically means you're a star of the episode.
That's right.
And her name in the show, gift shop customer.
That's right.
Now, if you remember, was that episode, I want to say 9, this season, we had the Reverend's girlfriend, who got no name.
No name.
That was egregious. That was probably more egregious. But,
well, yeah, but this was a little. This is interesting, Mike.
Her husband got a name. Her husband got name dropped.
Yeah, I heard his name in there. Like Weather or Walter or something like that.
Right, just be like, oh, thank you, Mrs. Weatherby. Like, it could just be something like that.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Mike. I have coined a new phrase to describe this happening. Well, no. What's happening with Virginia Graham, right? Let me try this again. So we've seen bigger roles that didn't get a porthole, right?
Yes, which is a different category. Yes.
And I now call that getting kernsed. Okay? You have a role, there's no porthole. Well, this is the opposite of getting kernsed. Virginia Graham did not deserve the porthole. No. So I'm like, so is she like some sort of Hollywood royalty, or did somebody owe her favor? I don't get it, man.
I looked her up. She's in a lot of things, but it's kind of like that, like her second IMDb box, which isn't always the second most thing you do, but it's a heart to heart, which made me think maybe she was like one of the Heart's moms or something. Yeah, who knows? I didn't dig that deep because honestly, I was shocked that she was in the credits. I missed it the first time because I wasn't. I
couldn't believe she had a portal. And then when they were going down like the guest stars, like you said, her name, I'm like, how do you give somebody a portal that doesn't even have a name? It doesn't make sense.
Or just, I mean, come on.
Yeah, just give her a damn Mrs. Smith, Maggie, just something, anything.
Well, we might as well get to it because while some people don't have any name, here we are, 40 episodes into this thing, plus one Stubbies. And we have Debbie Morgan playing Stephanie Jackson, which is definitely our third Stephanie.
They love the name Stephanie on this boat.
Including Isaac's girlfriend, the dissertation lady.
Yeah. Yeah, they go to that well a lot. I mean,
I'm sure we've had another name with 2, but it doesn't pop in my mind. And I believe right before the Stephanie onslaught last year, we had even kind of commented, it's pretty impressive. They haven't like doubled up or gone heavy on names. It does feel like they mix it up where you don't feel like that.
Yeah.
So I was taken aback by Stephanie Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was sort of like lazy character naming. Like,
Debbie Morgan, of course, best known as Angie on All My Children. And I definitely knew that I knew her.
I got nothing. She looked familiar. What else has she done? Anything else besides?
That was the only thing I knew her from.
Interesting.
She was in movies, but my guess is she was like a very small part. But I want to say she was.
She looks familiar.
She was in that show a lot. Like, it's not like I could pick everybody out of All My Children or One Life to Live, but it was definitely like So.
Was All My Children? Was that the Susan Lucci soap? Or is that One Life to Live?
This is probably going to get us in trouble. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think she was on the one with Krista Wagner, who I think was Jack.
Oh, from
Wagner.
Wings?
No, that's Crystal.
No, I was thinking Crystal Bernard. Yeah. Well, Jack Wagner was General Hospital.
Yeah.
Still an ABC soap.
Right. But I think they might be married.
Interesting.
Maybe? I don't know. I'm probably speaking out of turn here. Apologies to everybody who knows the answers to these things.
Yeah. And maybe someone from the soap opera project can fill in the blanks for us.
Can you imagine doing every episode of a soap opera?
Some of them been on for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah. Tammy Grimes played Christine. Fascinating information about Tammy Grimes. And when you watch her performance, this does track that she did have a Broadway background.
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah. She was the star and the titular Molly Brown in The Unsinkable Molly Brown, which, according to the note I saw, because I did not know this, is about a survivor of the Titanic. So
Wow, look at those circles.
yep,
Look at us.
exactly.
They're, you know what they are? They're a jinx.
I mean,
That
she
is
ended up
all.
being a jinx, right?
Yeah,
She
she
really
did.
did. Poor Fred.
Or Fred.
She also, and this is wild if you try to figure out how it would have worked, she was cast to be the original Samantha Stevens in Bewitched.
Really?
Yeah. She pulled out because she wanted to do a Noel Coward play. But that just doesn't, even if you went with demure second half of this episode, Christine.
She's no Elizabeth Perkins. Is that her name? Elizabeth Perkins, I believe.
Elizabeth Perkins.
Darn it.
Big.
Yeah, either way. Same.
Yeah.
But
Same.
yeah, it all worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was a fan of Bewitched. I love the whole two Darren things. And
yeah, that would have been a much different, like if you had told me she was playing Bewitched mom.
Makes sense. Now, was that English accent for real? I wonder.
I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't look.
Because I don't know where you'd look and like, is her accent?
Right?
Yeah, I feel like no if she was going to be on Bewitched. Even though, didn't her mom on Bewitched have an English accent?
I mean, she was a witch.
I guess you could be an English witch, right?
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Good day. You know, all that fun stuff. Good day. Shrimp on bobbies.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's see. Our one returning champion, Robert Mandan. He played Woody Billingsley. Of course, he is the star of Soap. It's been a few episodes. We had a Soap episode.
Jeez. You know, it's funny. It's almost easier to say who we haven't had. Yeah, everybody's been on this, except for
Mona Benson. And Benson. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Goulet. Yeah.
He, of course, was married to Audrey Meadows in his previous episode.
Which
they were the bickering couple against the Uric Canova.
And couple. They were great. He was great, but Audrey Meadows was fantastic in that episode.
And he was really good in this in a much different way than I've ever seen him. He was really playing a more soft character and really did it well. It was a nice departure for him.
Well, it's funny. He could play this soft character, but at the same time, as you're watching it, it's a little, I don't know if creepy is the right word. I don't know if that's the right word. It was just sort of wrong.
I mean, all of it's a little creepy.
It's all,
yeah. Especially when especially when we get into their actual ages.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's funny because I was dying to know. I'm like, okay, am I older than Woody in this episode, or is he younger than me? And if so, if she's half his age, good Lord, is she? So the math. Yeah. It was like a perfect mind. I'm writing numbers on Windows.
It's another great example of the Love Boat having a storyline, but not actually nailing the casting in terms of what they're going for.
It doesn't even make sense. But well, before we know it, how old do you think he portrayed in this episode? If just appearance wise.
So I think in this episode they were going for he's 60, they're 30.
Okay.
I don't think they picked the right actors, let alone the ages of the actors. I just think those actors, I think the younger ones look older.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks younger, you know, so
they kind of
tried to old him
the water.
Up. It was funny. It was one of the few examples we've seen of them trying to old him up with that robe and that sweater and all that stuff. But
no, tell her I'm worn out. You know, this whole,
Mm-hmm. Like, to me, he's eligible for the old stubby.
100%.
He himself is not of that age.
100%. Yeah, definitely. He played an old, so that's good enough for me.
His son in this episode was played by Randolph Mantooth, the other end of Emergency.
That's what it was. Yep. I was like, why is he I know he's been on a million different TV shows, but I couldn't link the...
Yep.
God, I used to watch Emergency when I was a kid. It was a cool show. Was that ABC or?
I don't even remember.
Was it NBC? Yeah, I remember it. That show was fantastic as a little kid.
I thought he was really good once again in a very weird role. Played a lot of notes in this one for sure. I was disappointed to see in the IMDb trivia that when he did an interview years and years later that he was embarrassed by this performance. or just being on the show in general, I guess was the quote.
What?
But
That's ridiculous.
come on, man, Tooth, calm down. You're not better than anybody.
Settle down, bro.
Finally, Roddy McDowell as Fred Beery, best known for Planet of the Apes, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree.
He definitely was full at the end of the shoot because he was chewing up scenery. Something fierce with this thing.
No kidding. No kidding.
I didn't write it all down, so I'm doing this from memory, but I think I'm correct. He was in a movie. I don't think it's Planet of the Apes, but maybe it was. But it was something.
Mm-hmm.
And was basically everyone was like, oh, this guy is going to win Best Supporting Actor. No question. But the studio screwed up and submitted him for lead actor.
Oh, no.
And so he didn't. I don't even know if he got nominated. And so the studio took a page out in the trades to apologize.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trying to find the movie name as I'm looking.
Apes, but I'm not sure. But
well, he was also in the spin-off on TV too. I'm just trying to see if there's all kinds of stuff in here. Fright Night. I forgot he was in Fright Night. He was the old vampire hunter.
Yeah, he's been
in
a lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was a little surprised that he was in this, but I almost wonder if him and Tammy Grimes were like friends or something like that. You know,
something. Yeah, I thought he was a big get.
She's probably a little too qualified, you know, as being like a huge Broadway star. Although we had Bobby Van the other day, so maybe we're getting real Broadway.
Yeah, but he's like a legit movie star.
Yeah.
You know, whereas a lot of these other people
in a costume, though. So
true.
And he might be somewhere where he wants to do it. I mean, he was definitely acting, right? Like he was acting it up. He's like,
he should have had him come on the boat in his ape makeup. That would have been a sneezing ape. That would have been great. Just saying.
Lucille shows back up.
That's it.
I mean, that stubby for best animal is just sitting right there.
Somebody take it.
Just the chicken right now, right?
That's all we have is a chicken so far.
Tony's chicken.
Tony's chicken. That's it. It didn't even have a line. Well, a cluck cluck, but I mean that not much of a line. Yeah. No SAG card for the hen.
Portal report. People are just having fun with it this week.
They don't give two turkeys about the portals here. No one's taking it serious.
Kathy Lee Crawford, who's Kathy Lee Crawford? Kathy Lee Crosby.
Is that Kathy Lee Gifford? Is that Kathy Lee Gifford? Is Kathy Lee Crawford maybe? Her maiden name? Is that
maybe?
Her? I don't know. All right.
We'll never know. Kathy Lee Crosby did the Arnold Horseshack spin turn that we saw from the great Briar a couple weeks ago.
I like that approach, by the way.
I think
you don't see me, now you see me. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's the one where it's like, you know, hey, I got an idea. You know, I feel we're going to see that one a lot.
Double guns, like I like that. Yeah, give me something.
Wink, nice wink. Yep. Mantooth did another classic, which is kind of look to the one side and then look back in with a bit of a, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody felt real loosey-goosey. I think we're starting to get to the point where people are like, I'm going to be on the Love Boat. I better get something together for my portal shot.
Well, right. I mean, and I think that's a point of concern with them saying like, okay, well, because it's not just they add a little personality. They're out of character. Who knows? Let them do their own thing. But they do seem to be having fun with it. And that's fun.
That's all you can ask.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, for God's sakes.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho.
Before we get on the boat, do you have any other note?
No, not yet. I just wanted to go over the Getting Kernsed original Wonder Woman. But no, I'm good to go. I'm ready. I'm ready to get down to business here, sir.
I would like us, while we're going through this episode, to try and figure out what actually is the closest thing you can have to a Christmas.
Out of this?
Out of any of this. So
all right. Well, we will search for a moment.
Yeah. I do not know what the answer is.
No, I don't either. Maybe in the credits, the end credits. I don't know.
All right. We open up in Steubing's office. We never open up in Steubing's office. Office is getting a little more decorated. I guess this is it now.
This is it. What, decorated by like the brass desk cannon on his desk?
Well, listen, he's got a lot of stuff on the wall.
Sure he does.
I think that someone who won Captain of the Year should have had such a demotion in office size.
No, I agree.
He got half the offer he had last season.
I also feel like if you get captain of the year, you better figure out how to open a jar of cashews, right? You can bang it on that brass cannon all you want. But remember, those cans are the ones that have the tab that goes around, those nut jars, and then you pull. It's not a twist top. It's that extra plastic bit.
I will say neither the boat captain or the head bartender really covered themselves in glory opening that can.
Yeah, how does Isaac not know how to open a jar of nuts?
That felt intentional.
He's like, give me that. Like, okay.
Anyway, Isaac shows up as Steubing is fumbling around with his nuts. And Steubing points out, he lets him know that I'm looking at your schedule to make sure that you have time to train young Stephanie in the gift shop. So before we get to who Stephanie is or why she's on the boat or why she needs training, why is the head bartender training someone in a gift shop?
Immediately, I went to the fact that Isaac is black, right? And Stephanie Jackson is black. That's the only thing that made, because I was like, okay, I remember Isaac got a promotion, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's over the gift shop. But that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because remember, we'll get to it later. It doesn't, I feel like they just clumped them together because Isaac was black and she was black. That's what it felt like.
Turns out that Stephanie was previously picked up for shoplifting, which I think Isaac was worried that Steubing would turn his nose up at, but he very much supports the rehabilitation of juveniles.
Shocking.
Isaac is involved because his mom's church group actually set up the program. So
maybe that's it.
I think that's what it actually is.
Yeah, that has to be it.
So do you think that goes through the whole princess line, or is that like just a one-to-one? I'm just surprised.
Maybe it was like a pilot program. You know?
I'm just surprised that the princess line would do that.
I'm surprised that the princess line would do something where they're going to have someone handling money who just got off.
Right.
You can do something else.
You know who should have been an ex-con job?
Huh.
Whatever Schneider was doing a couple weeks ago.
Oh, and he was washing polishing a rail while drinking a soda. Yeah, those would be good tasks.
That's a good first re-entry job for you. Not handling all the money and, of course, the world-famous pearls.
Some of the finest pearl earrings we've ever seen.
We need to ask, next time we have a cruise person on, we need to ask if the gift shop is like the place to be. Because apparently they were making money hand over fist that day.
I look at all the receipts.
Yeah. But
I don't know what they were selling.
One bottle of cologne and whatever that nameless lady bought.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and again, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, we'll get to it.
So long story short, like I said, Steubing is down with this program. And so as Isaac heads out to leave, he sees his boss struggling with the nuts and he offers to help out. And Isaac opens the can. You remember that episode where the guy threw the drink on the gentleman's seersucker suit?
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar. Isaac opens the can, but opens it with a forward motion.
Yeah, he knows where it's going. Yeah.
Exactly. Cashews go everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, there's no way, unless that's a spring-loaded cashew can. There's just no way.
Instead of one of those snakes coming out, it actually shoots cashews out of the top of the jar.
This is, you know what? That can of cashews would have killed that mentalist. He
100%. He'd have been, boom, I'm terrified.
Yep.
The other thing, too, is we'll see. So after he gets the nut, Steubing closes this interaction with another patented two-finger salute.
So continuity-wise, I think we're probably in the vicinity, which does bust up my theory that he had abandoned the two-finger salute. So
oh no, that's going to be his. That's his Johnny Carson hitting a golf club or hitting a golf ball move.
And it's the 1-2 punch of the two-finger salute, and also 90% of the time the situation does not call for a salute. Any
kind of salute. Hey, you open nuts. Like what? I would love to see his military custom book. Like when in doubt, two-finger salute. for everything. Yeah.
Woody Billingsley and his son Alan are boarding the boat. Alan is meeting up with Libby Hall, whom he has gone on a few dates with. And this immediately kind of makes Woody feel like a third wheel.
Yeah.
Should it have right away? Because I think even in the beginning, we kind of get the feeling that Alan's a little more in the friend zone than he was letting on.
Well, she paid for her own cabin and she has her own cabin.
Right.
Which is telling you right there they're not together.
And they're not in adjoining cabins, which this boat is just thrown out like candy anymore.
Right. Well, the other thing too is I wonder if this was like, I'm going to go on a cruise and we're going to advance this relationship from. It was weird. It was weird, and that's the thing. Right in the beginning of the story, I'm like, they're not together. Like, it was weird. I did think the dad was a little. I mean, he was. It was just a. It was a. You could already feel the weirdness happening.
Libby shows up. Gives Alan a very "we're just friends" hug.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she got hung him, but it was
she was definitely. There is no vibe there that there is anything more than a friendship between the two.
Nope. But Woody's like, "Hey, are you an artist?" And Alan's like, "Durr."
It's just that you have really flat luggage.
Yeah, he picked out her artist portfolio, which right there. That's just a wavelength that maybe old Mantooth didn't have.
He just picks up on things like giant, portfolios. Sure. Mantooth is just a dummy in this role. I just want to say Alan is a dummy.
After some playful banter, the three of them decide to go get a drink and they lock arms like the Wizard of Oz and they're off.
It's not good.
At this point, even knowing what the synopsis was, I was like, okay, she's gonna have feelings for both.
That's what I thought. I didn't realize it was going to go just for one of them.
Yeah, this is probably the best, I guess, walking her back to her cabin, but Mantooth does not really get anywhere with her on this boat. No. I think he definitely misinterpreted, hey, I'm going on a cruise.
She probably told him that she was going, and he was like, oh, me too.
Yeah, me and my dad.
Dad.
Yep. You're 100%. Dad probably paid for it, too.
Absolutely. This guy is just not... This guy, let me just say, Alan is not an alpha. Woody's the alpha here.
Yes. If your dad steals your girl,
yes,
you're not the alpha here.
No. But even from the beginning, like, you could see... I mean, obviously, end result, you can see, in the end. But right from the get-go, like you're saying, the weirdness with the... Libby, I hate that name, by the way. I know they've overused Stephanie, but now they're getting crazy, just throwing Libby and blah 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 blah. But yeah, it was.
She's just having a good time, man.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. Alan was just hard to root for. I couldn't root for him to win this girl over because there was nothing to root for.
Yeah, I think in a modern telling of this, he would have been even more obviously friend zoned. I think back then, that wasn't as much of a thing, but that's how it felt to me. So,
I agree.
Julie and Doc are checking in Fred Beery, who is wearing Harry Carey's glasses.
You aren't kidding. Could you see the reflection on his face? Because those suckers, he had some.
I'm so sorry. I'm so. There, I'm Fred.
The sea air smells me. Smells all.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot right away.
He reminded me of, isn't that you in something called Mary, the guy with the glasses?
Oh yeah, that was actually faking the whole. Yeah,
exactly. Just reminded me of him.
Fred is surprised to learn from Julie that a Mrs. Beery will be joining him because there is no Mrs. Beery.
No.
But before he could even really explain that whole part of the plot, here comes Christine. Hey, Fred,
those curls were a lot. That's a lot of curls, man.
It's that
Jeez.
thing. It's that thing where I don't know what Tammy Grimes looks like in 1979 in normal life, right?
Right.
But when she kind of like unglammed in the midway point of the episode, she was a much more attractive and normal looking person.
She
So
looked
my guess
way
is
more normal. Yeah.
they made her like way over the top, but it was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. It was so much to digest with her. Yeah, I agree.
He was talking about how he hadn't been sneezing before Christine got there, and then of course as soon as she shows up, he is sneezing a lot. She took the liberty of changing his reservation, so they're gonna have 3 days and 2 nights on this boat. I always appreciate when they give us the exact time.
I do too.
It's a very short cruise.
It's a quick cruise, and it felt quick, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that they even like had events in one of the ports. Like,
wait,
yeah.
You said 3 days, 2 nights, right?
Yes.
Okay. So one night was the Italian Fiesta, and then the other one was okay.
And the second night was the Jack Hughes Stephanie night. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
All right. So long story short, Christine has wormed her way in, and it's very obvious that every time he's around her, Fred is sneezing. Could be her clothes. Could be some hilarious allergy. I'm sure we'll find it.
It could be Tiger's flea powder. I mean, we've seen that happen in other shows. Stephanie
has boarded the boat, and she asked Gopher where this dude Isaac is. She is shocked.
Here it comes. Yeah.
She is shocked when Isaac shows up and that he's black and not some, quote, guilty white liberal.
Yeah.
Which
was quite a...
I didn't really even know that would have been in the lexicon.
I'm surprised that came out of that writing room. That smoke-filled, older gentleman-filled writing room. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Ted Lang did some nice, I'm shocked that I'm black, like kind of stuff. You're black, just good solid acting from Ted Lang there. He offers to take Stephanie up to her cabin, and she kind of acts pretty weird when he does that. But
yeah.
I'm sure that was just a passing thing and won't come up again.
There's no meaning to that. Yeah.
No, not at all. And then just to make sure that serious scene gets a button right on it, Gopher just draws over his nose with a marker.
It's all over his shirt. Oh, I loved it. So dumb, but I loved it.
Fred Grandy got the very rare 4th storyline this week, even though it wasn't really a storyline.
Oh, it was great. I thought it was the highlight of the show, to be honest with you.
It's just weird because we just haven't had stuff like that.
Like a running thing that it intersects and all the... Yeah, it's perfect. It's a great way to it's nice glue.
But it's much better filler than the normal filler we get.
What, like canned shots of them standing together on the...
6 hours of dancing.
Yeah, that's true. I thought that he was great in this scene with the marker. I laughed out loud when he's drawing on himself. And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm laughing out loud. It just made me giggle.
You're easy.
So, good on you, Gopher.
Speaking of filler, hit the horn.
Yeah.
We're heading out. We get a couple classic filler stock footage scenes. We get the reverse wave shot from people looking into the boat.
Yep.
But no specific characters, so that's not a real wave shot.
No ticker tape either. Not a piece of ticker tape.
We've had that before. And then we get the boat at night. This is, of course, to connotate that the boat has moved. Time has passed.
That's right. The sun has come up and then gone down. Sure.
It's very important.
Very important.
That filler also managed to give us a break in between Isaac walking Stephanie to her cabin and Isaac showing Stephanie her linen closet. And then, I mean, we have watched this for 40 episodes, and I would say the jewel thief reveal was shocking. I'm sure there were a couple other things.
Yeah, but this was
I can honestly say that what happened next even last night when I rewatched it, I was stunned that this is what happened. Like,
yeah, I didn't follow the logic in there. I was just like, what?
Oh, I got the logic.
I mean, it's not the logic, but it was just number one. It just wasn't necessary.
Let's explain it. So Isaac turns around after he's kind of like showing her the linen closet, and Stephanie's over by the bed. And as Isaac is slowly turning around, Stephanie is taking her clothes off. Now, not a lot because it's 8:30 on a Saturday night, but she's definitely like, starting to unbutton or something to, connotate clothes removal. Isaac's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "You got me the gig. I'm ready to pay it off." What?
Wow.
I was stunned.
I don't think we've ever seen anything
Quid pro
like
quo?
that on the boat
like
ever.
That. Not like that.
Oh, weird. Very uncomfortable.
Isaac was like, "Yeah,
no.
No.
And this is yet another reason why this is the Christmas episode. This just keeps happening.
Well, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you.
No kidding. Oof. I'd have ran. I'd have jumped overboard, likely.
Isaac sets her straight and is just like, "No. Got you a job for a fresh start. Not sex."
It's weird that they wanted to portray her like as disconnected. Like that's just not a real world thing to do. Like, are they? It was just weird to me. I'm like, what? Why would that character do it?
I think maybe they were trying to, like, with some of her phraseology. I think they were trying to portray her as, street smart. Isn't Isaac from Oakland? So maybe she's like a girl from Oakland. Because his mom's church is there and all that stuff. But it wasn't like she wasn't good at the job, right? She's very smart. So
personable. Yeah.
They didn't land it if that's what they were trying to do. Because it was like way too extreme. Like, you got to be like, I'm street smart, but hey, it's kind of like she should have been like Goodwill Hunting. If they were going for that,
Well, she could have been like, "What's your angle?" Like in the cabin to be like, have a real conversation with someone. Yeah. Two kids growing up in a rough neighborhood in Oakland can have that discussion. It was just weird because it was just weird. It's just weird because it talk about a dynamic changer in a matter of seconds. It's like, and not cool.
I think that's like 8 minutes into the episode, right? So it's like 8:38 on a Saturday. You're just unwinding from a tremendous episode of Delta House.
You could hear the all the televisions in the Midwest turning off. Nope.
I'm gonna tune in real early for the State of the Union rebuttal.
No kidding. We'll just put it on mute.
What is happening?
In fact, I don't think TVs had mute back then either. Yeah, that's a weird one. That. Yeah, I don't know. And we say that there's some weird things on the show, but I don't know another way to describe this because it just. Out of place, it felt. Yeah.
Did not see that one coming.
No, me neither.
Father, son, and Libby are all at dinner, and it is already pretty clear that Woody and Libby are hitting it off, and Alan is a third wheel.
He's got no personality in this. He doesn't even talk. He just orders more drinks.
I was gonna say, a couple more drinks, he'll have all the personality he needs.
That's what I'm saying. He just mopes. He started moping so early into this whole thing. From the time they left the lobby together, the three musketeers having drinks, and then all of a sudden Alan is just a complete Debbie Downer. Well, no wonder. Nobody wants to hang out with you, Alan. You're lame. Like, you bring nothing to the table.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because they didn't explain how long the dad had been a widower.
Right.
If this had been an episode where dad was a bit of an aging coxman, that might have been a different take on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this just really felt more like Alan misread the room completely.
Well, I think Woody's wife passed away like days before.
Oh, no.
He's coming in hot. Move out of my way, Alan. He's
single for almost a week.
Yeah, Dad, you're in Daddy's cabin now. Like, stop.
Fred and Christine are dancing, and Christine is running the show. Clearly, this is more of the scene stealing dancing that you accused Ray Bolger of a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is
just
very
obnoxious.
much,
Yeah, terrible.
Back and forth.
It's too much.
She basically proposes to Fred and kind of dips him while he's got a face full of boa, and he accepts mid-sneeze. And it makes all the happiest girl in the world.
Yeah. Are you saying yes? Or are you saying are you saying I do? Or are you saying achoo? Like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Poor Fred. Christine is just a bulldozer. A curly-haired, feather boa-wearing bulldozer.
Yeah, I kind of checked out of that storyline the first time at that point because I'm just like, oh, I know what's going to happen, you know, blah, blah, blah. They'll end up getting married or whatever. So credit for them to at least making it different, but it didn't make it any more interesting or understandable, to be honest with you.
No, I agree.
A bunch of the crew that isn't Isaac goes over to Stephanie's table to welcome her aboard. Steubing comes over and gives her the full Merrill.
Oh.
Just all sorts of, you know, compliments that are probably not things that women need to hear. And,
no.
You know, a lot of second chance stuff. And when he walks away, Stephanie's like, is he for real?
What did he say? He said, all that matters is how well you do your job. That's all that matters?
It is. Well, also don't steal.
Yeah, don't. But you didn't even say that.
Don't steal. Yeah. That's on you, Meryl.
There you go. MS. There you go, buddy.
Stephanie's generally suspicious of these people, and Gopher kind of is laying it on pretty thick, but these honkies be tripping, I think, is like what her initial thought is.
Well, and Gopher's like, yeah, there's lots of real people out there. You just haven't met them yet.
Yeah,
what does that even mean?
I mean, she's the least sheltered person of anyone except maybe Doc.
No kidding. Gopher, go get another black marker and go write on yourself.
Go back to Iowa,
Stupid.
Yeah, that was weird. Oh God, more Fred and Christine already.
Here we go.
We're back. They're at Doc's office. All right, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Doc's office getting a blood sample.
Yeah, for who?
So a few weeks ago, when Gopher and Amber were dancing on the deck.
Yeah.
And that Amber had been hooking up with Doc, and so Gopher had mentioned something about what do we tell Doc? And he made a passing comment about it's too early for blood tests anyway. Now these guys are getting married.
In Mexico, right?
So do you need the blood test because it's a international thing? Do you need it because it's a 70s thing? I don't understand what did you get a blood test when you got married?
No. I know that was a thing. So my mother-in-law told me that when she got married, they went to a different state that didn't require you to have a blood test. This is what, maybe 60s, maybe something like that. So I asked her, I'm like, what is that? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, in a lot of states, it was a requirement to have a blood test.
Why? Like to what?
I don't. Okay, so
you testing that you have blood. Like,
you know what? I'm going to get on my thing right now and ask what was the point? Because what are you looking for?
Right.
And in my mind, I think I might know what it is, but I don't want. Like, was it for like diseases, like
I guess
venereal diseases,
or like some sort of weird like inbreed, like. Two bloods can't. It's weird. It's like.
Here we go. Blood tests were required for marriage licenses in the United States to prevent the spread of STDs and genetic disorders to spouses and children.
So there you go. It is kind of a genetic thing. That's interesting.
Montana.
Why don't we do it today?
Well, New York is the only state that partially requires a blood test for marriage licenses, requiring Black and Latino applicants to test for sickle cell anemia.
That is such a weird thing.
So weird. The last state to repeal it was Montana in 2019.
Is it one of those things? Because it's like you can't do it for a driver's license, and that's the only other time you really have people in a position where they have to get stuff off you. It's just like such an odd thing.
say I'm I'm a black man or Hispanic man in New York. I'm getting married. Whose business is it of theirs if I have sickle cell anemia?
No, that's true.
Like it. So you just you can't get married, or is it? It's just weird. Like that's a medical. The government shouldn't.
No, not at all.
That's odd, man. That's way overstepping. Where's HIPAA?
Like I should get, I should need proof of ID and $23. Like that's basically what I should need for a marriage license.
Or somebody should go up and be like, I don't need any money. Show me your license. And are you crazy? Do you really want it? That's what you need. You need reality check Randy. Just show up and go, you good? Like,
give me some of that sweet blood and I'll pronounce you man and woman.
Yeah, no, just give me some of that hemoglobin, and we'll get you right along. Very strange.
So weird.
But again, if it was required, who's requiring it?
Yeah.
We talked about the United States, but something tells me a blood test wasn't required in Mexico in the late 70s to get married. Just a hunch.
Identification isn't required on this boat.
Right. So what do we...
Now we're cracking people open? Like
they don't even know who the blood test belongs to.
Yeah. Room 129.
Like what? So crazy. Okay.
Doc is after Christine leaves to go make wedding arrangements, Doc is talking to Fred and they're kind of trying to come to the bottom of Fred's allergy. I think Doc initially suspects that maybe it's Christine's pet or maybe some of the food she's giving.
Remember she said mattress filler? He said in there. I was like, what? Mattress filler.
Well, this is where at one point Doc asks about pets.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Roddy McDowell says that, well, she's got a dog, but that's fine. But she also has a bitch of a bird.
I did see that.
I
did see that. It was funny. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, Mike. And this is maybe just a softball. What would it take for you to stay with someone if you had sneezing fits like this every time? Like, I don't, there would have to be something so amazing. Like I don't even know.
Well, I think the thing is, I'd be more likely to stay with somebody if it was like psychosomatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because theoretically, right, you can get past that or not. I would but yeah, if you physically can't stop,
right,
then yeah, it's like, sorry, but this isn't going to work, or I have to get like a air purifier.
What an amazing get out of jail free card, though. Like it's not working out. That's what I'm going to do if it ever breaks down at home. I'm just going to start sneezing like crazy, and to be like, I think I'm allergic to you.
I might.
Adam Bricker said I'm allergic.
Have you seen the latest episode of Bricker where they confront an anesthesiologist who's playing God?
That's it. Another question for you, Mike, on this interaction. He brought up creme de mint frappes.
Sure.
What?
Creme de mint is a lovely drink. Definitely friends of ours that are bartenders have made some good ones. The frappe I can't speak to.
Is that just whipped?
I think so.
It just looked like when you saw it later, I was just like...
It's definitely not a drink that I'm going to have like a lot of.
Would you drink creme de mint by itself, or is it usually like in something? Because do you ever drink like mint? Like I don't even know what it would go with.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah. I don't know. Interesting. Just didn't sound like a very, nice settling drink for your stomach.
No. Long story short, I think Fred is running with the diagnosis that he's allergic to Christine.
He is so happy about this diagnosis.
Yes, he is.
Thank God.
This is probably the sad part for old Alan.
Yeah, this was bad. Two things.
He's walking Libby back to the cabin, and he asks if he can come in for a little while, a little nightcap. And Kathy Lee Crosby's like, nah, take it easy.
Nah, let me give you a kiss on the cheek and let me call you your dad's name. Oh, man.
That part is so much worse than the first part.
Did he call... I wonder if she called him that before she was like, nah, or did she call him that after she said nah?
It was before. So the order of operation was no to the nightcap,
Oof.
good night, Woody.
Oh,
That's
it's
tough.
even worse that way.
It's much worse. It's the worst version for you, Alan.
Yeah, say goodnight to your dad for me, Alan. Oh,
Poor Alan.
poor Alan.
He is crushed. Mantooth is absolutely crushed, which makes
He's crushed. He's crushed.
Back in the beery room, because of course we are.
Of course we are.
Christine is decked out in her finest Jesse the Body Ventura outfit.
Stop. It is so funny that you said that. My note, hands up. Does Christine shop at the Jesse Ventura Feather Boa Emporium?
It's classic Jesse Ventura. It's the pink.
Oh, yeah.
All
That's
she
when
needs
he
is
was
like the crazy sunglasses.
He was at that's like working Ventura. Like that was his gimmick right there.
Yeah.
Good Lord. And topical because we get to see him on TV this Saturday night.
There you go.
There you go. Jesse Ventura.
So Christine is like, hey, what'd the doctor say about your allergies? And Fred's like, well, hang on to your hats. He's like,
he got raw.
He's like, I don't love you. I don't want to marry you. I don't even want to be in this cabin with you.
Dude. I mean, in his defense, she did call him Fredums. Maybe that was the hard line that Yeah, he didn't hold back at all. Once he started talking, it was just like he felt so liberated.
Yeah.
And he didn't sneeze. He was like, I don't like you. You're not attractive. I don't like the way you sit. Like he just damn, Fred.
Christine puts on quite the act. You know, you made me look like a fool, but I also made myself look like a fool. Like it's just we're really going for it.
She's on Broadway here. She's like, this is it. Grammy, Emmy, whatever. Give me an award. Yeah.
She then goes to the bathroom to cry through the door. And old Fred's like, I'm not sneezing anymore. I'm just going to walk around. I'm going to walk around in the hallway and it'll be wonderful. And it's all he does. And didn't he walk right out of the act, I think? Basically?
He did. Yeah. Imagine what a great night's sleep Fred had. Which just shows you Fred's a bit of an a-hole. He drops the bomb. He's like, I don't like you. You smell weird. You know, all these different things. And he's sleeping away while she's sleeping in the Adam Bricker suite inside of the bathroom. Ugh.
Next season we should keep totals on how many people sleep in the tub because it's like more than you would expect.
I don't know if you could fall unless you were like hammered or under the influence. I just don't see anybody falling asleep in a tub.
No,
there's no way.
Although
a tub in a cruise ship? It can't be some big claw-footed thing. It's not. Who's taking a bath inside of a cabin of a cruise ship?
Yeah, I mean we've seen the bathrooms just in general. They're not that big, and we have seen the tub, and it's more of a soaking tub than a.
It's a tub for babies, if anything. It's just there's no room.
It's the whale. That's what it is.
It is.
Let's see. So Fred has kind of moved on, as we said. He's walking up and down the hallways.
He moved on quickly, my friend. He is out of there. Goodbye.
His new lease on life. The next morning, Isaac is training Stephanie in the gift shop. And it's really a lot of over-explaining of the plot.
Yeah. It's a
lot of information about receipts and how receipts work. And
you know what's funny, though, is you never saw any cash change hands. From Gopher's purchase to that woman's purchase, no cash.
Just all receipts.
Also, I didn't see one baby spoon. I didn't see one book. And I didn't see one pornographic magazine in that store. So
yeah, like they have this whole like line of fine jewelry. But yeah, where's the newsstand?
What is... There's more than one gift so I wonder if there's a gift shop and a newsstand. But I thought the gift shop... I know Julie said gift shop in that episode when she bought all those magazines.
That's the first episode, of course we know that. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, too, that's a completely different set.
Yes.
Because a couple times we've seen the gift shop, it's been more.
It's the other side of it.
Right. It's like just a couple like ladies' clothes and that kind of stuff. So I guess. I mean,
Okay.
look for the gift shop 2 toy set. So
The gift shop annex somewhere.
where you can learn how to keep receipts in a proper fashion.
And not exchange any money. Sure.
Gopher shows up looking for some cologne. Looking for some sweet cologne. And this is where Stephanie's like, there's a sucker born every minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get you a big old bottle of Macho Beast.
Macho Beast.
So,
like, it's even better than Sex Panther.
but is it better than Oriental Wind? That's the Consumer Reports advertisement I need.
I mean, I bet you get more. You know, if you're looking for volume in your cologne, there you go.
Can empty the ocean into that bottle of Macho Beast.
Oof. Oof. He put so much on.
I mean, he rubbed his face like
he washed his face in Macho Beast. He had an extra button undone. I didn't think he looked very professional. There was no undershirt under his uniform, and his buttons there was too many buttons unbuttoned. He looked like a hot mess. I don't know what Grandy was up to the day before or the night before, but he looked disheveled.
As we talked about, that was an enormous bottle of cologne.
It's huge. It was huge. It did look like a maple syrup bottle. Yeah. And the top is just like, you don't see cologne bottles, you just completely like freewheeling, the whole bottle's open, where you can just open pour. Like, it's not a liquor bottle. There's no like splash thing. He's just.
It was like I always mention my favorite episode of Intervention ever was this mom who would drink Plax, the mouthwash. And she would have the huge bottles, and that's what this looked like—a huge bottle of Plax.
Yeah,
but it's just Macho Beast instead.
You know, it's funny you say that because there was a driving range where I grew up, and right next to the driving range there were these drunks that would hang out. And they drank Scope. Oh. Like, that's what they chose to drink was Scope. Not liquor, Scope. So they had minty breath, and they were hammer smashed. But it was just like,
speaking of
you see somebody chugging some, could have thrown some milk in there and frappe that sucker up.
There you go. Alan and Woody are having breakfast, and Libby shows up, of course.
How about that buffet, Mike?
That wasn't a very impressive
carving station. Oh, amazing. Although it's weird that it was outside. I don't know if you have open air breakfast buffets.
So would you rather lose your girlfriend to your father, but also get an awesome breakfast, or just get some toast but keep your girlfriend? Like that's the question.
I think you closed the circle on that one for me. I think you know where I'm going. Go ahead, take her. I'd rather have the nice breakfast. At least Alan can be happy about something.
Yeah. Libby shows up again, and she wants to go sketch in the ports. Yes. Alan's like, how about you draw from the comfort of my cabin?
Oh, yeah, this is... Oof.
Yeah, and Libby's like, or not.
Or forget that idea entirely.
Yeah. So Woody actually ends up going to the port with Libby to do a little art, do a little painting, and Alan, we assume, is just going to stay on the cabin or the deck and get just absolutely wasted
and eat more breakfast.
Free breakfast.
Alan's got nothing to do.
Now free breakfast.
I love you, French toast sticks. I love you. It's terrible. You want to go hang out in my room and you can sketch French toast and silver dollar pancakes? Just poor Alan.
There's a scene in the middle of this where Woody kind of asks Alan if this is okay, and Alan's like, do I have anything to be worried about? It was just like a real
should I? Like
a gunslinger.
I know we've talked a lot about Alan kind of being clueless, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, what a what a dick move by his dad. Like, shouldn't it doesn't matter if they're together, but he's obviously interested in her, and it's just like, you might be the worst dad for doing this. It's weird.
I will
man.
say, regardless of how it ends, because the heart wants what the heart wants, and blah blah blah. But I think early, he definitely insinuated himself in some situations where he didn't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
And I know he was kidding, and I think him and the father have that kind of relationship where some of that stuff could be kind of like chalked up as joking.
Maybe.
But at some point, you got to stand down a little bit. And he tried eventually, but...
It was way too late at that point. Like, he knew what was up.
I mean, it was before he hit him.
It's before he hit him, but it's like, oh, I'll wait for her to shoot down Alan a third time before I move in. It's just... weak slap too. We'll get into it, but good Lord, practice your slaps, guy.
Let's head over for some gift shop action.
Back in the gift shop.
All right. So the nameless lady has arrived. She's buying a bunch of stuff. And then she compliments Stephanie on her fashion sense. Stephanie makes some comment that she can't afford the fashions, but she can afford the fashion magazines. And the nameless lady is like, I know what I'm talking about. Me and my husband own several boutiques.
Why did they call her boutique owner instead of gift shop lady or whatever? Yeah.
What's the lady? They should have called her like, I'm Jefferson Ward. So,
anything.
I'm Gimbals.
Yeah, like
Sweet Lady Bambridges.
My husband is Johnny Sears. Right. Just anything.
Put it on my tab. Mrs. Strawberry and Clothier.
I'm Dillard's.
And so on and so on.
Yeah, we could go on. Yeah.
She catches these beautiful pearls in the jewelry case. She asks Stephanie to take them out so she can have a better look. But she's got to check with her hubby. Old Walter's keeping those purse strings a little tight. So she declines to take them for now, but she'll be back.
Yeah, who doesn't love fancy white circle earrings? Nothing really, classes up an outfit with a couple of white balls in your ears. Just the pearls are just so lame. It's just...
Oh, she's an older lady.
I know, but they could have had anything in that thing, and they're going to go, oh, look at these beautiful pearls. Like, come on.
Look at these hoop earrings.
Well, how much could a pair of pearl earrings be?
Yeah, they never gave a price. That was disappointing.
Right. We might be the worst people to try to figure out that dollar amount, but how much could they really be?
I mean,
I can't afford that. Yeah.
This was my question in general is the gift shop... Do you ever go to... You've went to like the fancy resorts for like a honeymoon or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of stores in there. Mm-hmm. And those were overpriced.
Absolutely.
But that's like a lot of that stuff is...
Like duty-free kind of stuff?
You're in or things like that.
Yeah.
I'm just buying pearls. They didn't indicate that these are pearls from the shores of Puerto Vallarta or anything like that, right?
They didn't say like not Maramoto pearls, like some high-end anything. Like, it's just...
Nice boat pearls. Like, that's all it is.
But at the same time, if you would have said diamond earrings, in my mind, that equals a higher value. I just was like, oh,
well,
great.
That's the other thing, too. Is Stephanie really going to wear pearls? Pearl earrings?
It does seem like a...
old white lady.
Old white lady. Yeah. What is it? Old liberal. What is it?
Guilty white liberal.
Guilty white liberals. They wear pearls all the time.
No, that's right, because they're white.
Right.
White pearls.
White. Just like
Texas
the pearls.
tea.
Texas tea. Yeah, it was weird though. I just don't. They just didn't seem like a very valuable item. But again, I just might be clueless. But
Stephanie is enchanted by these pearls, and so she doesn't put them right away. She actually puts them on and is admiring herself. Which, not a crime to admire yourself in the store stuff. I'm sure that'll turn out fine. But you know what is a crime? Leaving your post as captain of a boat. And you know who's guilty? Meryl Stubing. Every
time. Well, it was probably close to 3:00. You know what happens at 3:00? It's donut time, Mike.
How does Isaac's training schedule impact? That's why he was doing the schedule.
That's what it was.
I need you to bartend and train Stephanie, but I've marked you busy between 2:45 and 3:15.
So. That's it. I need till at least 3:15 to digest my donut, my daily donut. Yeah. Good old Captain. It's funny how he just never seems to have anything to do.
I mean, he just happens to be in this weird, like, leering area of the gift shop where he can see her, but she can't see him. Like, why does the gift shop even have an eye line like that? That's weird.
There's like a two-way mirror. Why would you? Yeah, it was weird. And the thing is, too, I was like, I wonder if he's going to say something. But then I'm like, was she doing anything wrong? But my gut felt like she was. But
it turns out she was, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But here's the thing: don't be a puss, Meryl. It's your boat.
That's exactly right.
Just walk over. It'll stop.
Exactly.
It almost felt like entrapment.
It did. Well, or he was giving her enough to like.
Yeah. Terrible.
Well, I'm sure nothing will come of this. I'm sure the whole earring thing's a dead item.
Luckily, we break the tension of that dramatic scene with Gopher and his new cologne, which apparently stinks.
Can I get the name of the cologne? Can I get the name of the?
Like the Avon lady. So.
Can I get the name of the cologne again? Because it just makes me
Macho
laugh.
Beast. $15 at the gift shop.
Oh man, that's funny.
Macho Beast, the official cologne of Christmas season. Oh, that's the gift of the see. There it is, gift of the Magi.
Ooh,
you got me a huge bottle of Macho Beast, and I have lost my sense of smell. So
that's funny.
I sold my nose.
Yeah, he and I, it would have been a perfect gift to the Magi. I'd have been like, I got you a new shirt that you didn't mark off. You didn't write on a marker, and you got me Macho Beast that I can't smell.
God. All right, where are we at here? Yeah, as you said, Christine slept in the tub. She tracked down Fred on the deck, and she tells Fred that she's done. I won't be bothering you anymore.
Never again.
Fred's like, I am sorry that I made you cry. Christine
That's a great impression of him, by the way.
Christine has said, like, you made me cry a lot, but you won't make me cry anymore. And she kind of leaves. She did apologize for kind of running him over, but at this point now, we're just in this weird. She's quickly moving on, I guess.
She's out of her mind crazy. Like, out of her mind crazy.
Yeah. And Fred is okay with it, but he's already starting to turn into, well, now I'm interested in you.
Yeah, it's not even a guilt thing. It's like the tables have turned.
Yeah. A little abruptly for those turntables.
I want to bring up something. So something was mentioned. A dish was mentioned. So she asked, do you even like chicken Marengo? And he's like, a lot
of chicken Marengo. This episode also sponsored by Chicken Marengo.
Chicken Marengo.
Chicken Marengo Council.
Chicken Marengo is a French dish. This will come up later. Yeah. French dish consisting of chicken sauteed in oil with garlic and tomato. It's garnished with fried eggs and crawfish. Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Original dish named to celebrate the Battle of Marengo, a Napoleonic victory from June of 1800. This is going to come up again.
I know
Chicken
exactly
Marengo is going to come.
Yes,
you do.
I agree with you already.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Yeah.
That's funny. Christine leaves Fred hanging with the devastating lines. I guess when you reach the end of the rainbow, you don't always have your pot of gold. And she walks away.
Oh, she's just. Wouldn't she try to get a different cabin or something?
Must be
like instead of hovering in the bathroom or something. The guy said, "I don't even want you in my room. I don't love you. I don't like you." Like all this stuff.
Bill to the Gunnels this week.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can tell there's been 9 people on this boat.
Oh yeah, packed.
Anyway, as I was saying, gift shop action. Isaac checks in on Stephanie, who reports it's been a busy day. She is pooped. And Isaac offers to close up so she can go get ready for dinner.
How? How's he got time for this nonsense?
I don't know. I feel like we didn't see Isaac make any drinks this week, so maybe that's what Stubing was doing, is he was getting him off the bartending schedule this week.
Or he's just thinking that maybe she is going to steal something, and this is a way to kind of instill like a check or balance on what she's doing.
I'll also say, when I worked in retail type jobs, closing your register the first day is a very important lesson.
Yes.
So she's not going to know how to do it tomorrow, Isaac.
And again, with no money, we see no money, no register has been open. All we see is a stack of receipts. So I wonder, is it one of those things where they're just charged to their room, like a hotel would be?
And so that's the receipt, is you give me your room number. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Because what if somebody gives you a wrong room number? They're not asking for anything.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
Because like when I go away and sign something to the hotel, I'm signing something.
Right.
And my room has a credit card under it. So I guess that's what that is.
Just loosey-goosey in 1979, apparently.
I mean, if you can get on the boat with not a lot of information, you certainly can buy Macho Beast.
You can get Macho Beast, pearl earrings, sure. Anything.
Here comes that lady again with no name. And you know what? I will take those pearls. But they
you
are
knew
gone.
it was going to happen. Yeah.
Gassed.
What?
Pearls are missing. Stubing, still there? You think he left and came back, or he's still there?
Oh, he's still there. He hasn't left that hall. He's got nothing. He left for 5 minutes to eat his donut, and he's right back. Do I have any crumbs on me? And he walks right in the store.
He came back with the donut. What's going on?
Just his whole face is glazed. Like, hello, what's up?
Isaac's like, oh, well, somebody must have bought it. And Stubing's like, I'm sure there's a receipt. And so Isaac goes into the register and he's looking for that receipt. And he's looking. And he's looking.
It's not like there's hundreds of them. There's like 6 receipts. I haven't found it yet. Yet? What are you doing? What are you looking at? No dice.
No dice. And we get some dramatic music going to break as Isaac and Stubing both think about the possibility that the juvenile rehabilitation program developed by Isaac's mother's church has not worked.
And that was acting, because they didn't even say anything at the end. You could tell by their look. They were like, oh.
Good for them. I will say, we have said that Ted Lang is maybe the best actor out of all of it.
Yes.
I thought Stubing had a good acting week.
I
Gavin
completely
McLeod had a
agree.
very good acting week. So
100%. I will say, if we're talking, on the upswing, absolutely. I will say this is a very Julie light episode.
Doc too. I mean, they gave Doc a little bit, but and those two are basically together in every scene.
Although Julie's hair is considerably longer.
Yes, and more styled. So yeah. Now, spoiler, we have talked about this already, but next week's 2-parter is a Julie high school reunion.
Yeah.
So my assumption is light Julie this week because it's heavy Julie.
Oh yeah, they tend to do that.
And Doc just, I feel like you get a lot of Doc.
He doesn't need a lot to shine either. No. He makes the most out of his little appearances. He's great.
But you could feel it. You could feel it this week that those two were definitely like the light load. So
yeah.
We open Act 3 with Isaac filling in Julie and Doc about which has happened in Act 2.
Right.
He decides that he definitely cannot ask Stephanie if she took the pearls, which
just
level with her. Like, hey,
we're missing a receipt and we're missing the pearls.
And they weren't there and we don't have a receipt. Did you stick them somewhere? No.
Like, I don't think it's a terrible question to ask. No. Considering you don't even know this person, considering this person was trying to like pay you with sex like less than 24 hours ago, like what?
Julie and Doc kind of say that there's ways to ask without asking. But yeah, honesty is the best policy. Straight and direct.
100%.
But there's no time for any of this.
No. There's bigger things going on.
Italian fiesta night.
I love a fiesta. Do Italians say fiesta?
Apparently, it's every fiesta night. I think they just have the sign from Mexican fiesta night, and then.
No. Well, why wouldn't it be just Italian night? Why has it got to be Italian fiesta night?
So a few weeks ago, we had French night.
Yes.
And we commented that besides the waiters wearing the gondola shirts and hats, there really was no real French.
No.
They definitely did a lot more for Italian fiesta night.
Oh, they Italian this place up.
It has the soundtrack from Buca di Beppa. The waiters are wearing what I think are the exact same striped shirts.
They are.
The French night.
They are. Now they're just like, yeah, it's just the same. Yeah, we're not French, we're Italian.
Yeah, but it definitely does feel a little more Italian than it did French. Not as Mexican, but.
Although, go ahead. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead. I'm excited.
What's our next one? What's our next nationality themed night?
Well, you'd think the Mexican night would be the easiest.
But we did that already.
We did that. French, Italian.
What's the fourth? Greek? What's big in the 70s? Iranian?
Fondue? I don't know what it's fondue night. Fondue fiesta.
Canadian.
That's a Canadian.
It's just Tim Hortons.
I'm just trying to think of what's accessible because it wasn't super ethnic. So it's like.
Right. Chinese.
Chinese?
Dicey, though, even in that era, right? I mean. Or, you know what they're going to do?
You don't want to do that.
Far East.
You got to be careful with that because they're going to.
Yeah.
Like they're going to use the term Oriental. Like they're going to really butcher that whole thing.
Great.
No. But again, I can't think of another accessible food that you would have for a large audience.
Russia? Bring Swit back?
Swit or Carol Burnett or Carol Brady, right? Same person? We never see them together. I don't know. I think we're going to get a repeat. It'll be Mexican night again in a couple weeks.
It's going to rotate the three.
Yeah.
Esperanto night.
I like it. I mean, I want a night when they just, serve chicken Marengo, personally.
I am very disturbed by all that's going on in chicken Marengo and the fact that he didn't like it. That's just a lot of stuff to eat that you don't like.
Well, then he's like, well, I like it, but I want to eat it when I want to eat it. I'm like, okay. It sounds disgusting. I got to be honest with you.
It's just the addition of crawfish at the end or whatever?
Yeah. With eggs, fried eggs, and crawfish.
Such a weird dish to have at a restaurant. Is it like is it in like a tin? Like a copper pot or something?
I bet you it's like baked, and then they add the eggs and they cook or I don't know. It sounds awful.
Sounds like like the original KFC bowl or something like that. Throw some corn in there.
Yeah, that'll healthy it up. Well, the thing is too, I don't know, why are they offering this on Italian Fiesta night? It's a French dish. Shame on you, Love Boat. Shame on you.
That's what I'm saying. Between the shirts and let's be honest, the waiter who takes Fred's order does not look like someone that would work on this boat.
No,
he surfer dude.
Or he looked like one of those like hired thugs that the Joker had on the Adam West Batman show. Pow. Just I'm sure that they also had like for Italian night they had baguettes.
Yeah.
Baked brie. Standard.
Who's probably pissed he didn't get a call was Chef Borgia.
Oh, this is his that's probably why the food's all jacked up. Like, you want to fix it? Call Chef Borgia.
I'm only going back because, we said it was a light doc episode. He does mention that Italy is his favorite country, and then he starts to sing in Italian. for no reason.
No reason at all.
This almost felt like Doc and Julie, the actors, were just hanging out.
They wouldn't have a lot to do. Light, not a lot of heavy lifting for either one.
As we said, Fred showed up, sat at Christine's table. She offered to leave. He was like, no, stay here. And then he starts to order the disgusting chicken Marengo. Meanwhile, we go to the Billingsley's cabin. And they're having a bit of a tense discussion.
Yeah.
Looks like old Woody's getting ready to go out. And kind of has some short words with Alan and admits that he's starting to have some feelings for Libby. Today she made him feel young. Alan does not take this well.
Well, he's already, he's well on his way to just being completely depressed over this situation.
And it's only a 2-night cruise. He's probably still drunk from last night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got nothing to do. He's got nobody to talk to. He doesn't talk.
That's true. He's like, what are you trying to do? Make us both look like fools? Randolph Mantooth. Yeah. This is 30 seconds of some of the best acting we've seen this season.
Oh, yeah. Strong performance.
Like, she's half your age, old man. And, it's just like, it was great.
It was good. This interaction was interesting, and to see, I was curious during the interaction. I'm like, well, what's going to come out of this?
Yeah.
Who's not going to dinner? Is it Alan or is it Woody? Because I kind of thought it might be Alan going into it because she doesn't want to have dinner with that dude at all. She didn't want to hang out with the guy.
The line that ended up hitting Woody where it hurts is that he said, that she's just being nice to you. Don't you get it? And Woody kind of steps back and he's like, okay. And he's like, you know what? You go have dinner. You go have dinner with her. Make up some excuse.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys have a great time.
Yep. And Alan's like, excellent.
Yeah. She'll be here. She'll be back in the cabin soon. Don't worry about it,
Alan. It is a weird music cue at the end of that kind of intense acting from Mantooth. It just kind of tries to lighten it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which kind of ruined it. But classic father-son story where both are trying to bang the same lady.
Happens. It's a tale as old as time, Mike.
Woody Billingsley with the awesome lesson for all you kids out there. Mustn't keep a classy lady waiting.
There you go, Woody. Well said.
Yep. Libby does not wait very long to call bullshit on Alan's excuse for his father. So.
Yeah. Libby's like, okay, cool. I'll go talk to him. Pretty much. That's cool.
He's like, he'll see you later. And she's like, it's the last night of this cruise.
Yeah, he'll see you tomorrow. Stupid Alan.
Poor Alan. Alan had 78 drinks after Libby left.
He just never stopped drinking and didn't sleep a wink.
No. Isaac is at dinner with Stephanie, and it looks like he's trying to start, loading up to ask a question, but then he kind of pusses out and asks for bread instead.
Well, just like Julie and Doc said, you just have to ask a question without really asking a question. Brilliant. Thanks for the advice. Thank you.
Stop hogging the guys. Bread.
Yeah.
That's not a question. That's
good.
A declarative statement. We are now in Woody and Alan's cabin, and this is where the star of this episode shows up.
Here we go.
Woody is wearing a robe, and we have seen many robes in our 2 seasons so far. We have not determined if they are ship robes or people bring them, but we think people bring them because they're not the same robe. It's not.
Yeah. There's no standard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is an amazing robe. It looks like a combination of Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat and the 1974 Portland Trailblazers uniforms.
It's cozy. Just cozy. Yeah.
It is So many colors, and yeah,
Like
it looks very thick.
Oh, it's like a warm nap inside. It's
It almost
wonderful.
looks like a cable knit robe.
It was not way too warm for a
It,
Mexican cruise. I'm just gonna say, like, that is a Alaskan robe that he's got on.
so are they? Oh, Joey's gonna steal it when she goes to see Jack Chanel.
That's it.
Are they trying to connotate that this old man is cold and therefore needs this heavy robe?
I took it as because he had put on the robe, then he had sort of like not surrendered, but like threw his flag. Yeah. He bowed out by putting his robe on.
I will say, I know people always enjoy when we let others know that our wives come in for like 3 minutes and see a scene or whatever.
Yeah.
My wife walked in on this part, and she was just flummoxed by the robe. But then in a later scene, seeing Woody out of the robe, she was like, "Oh, he's not a bad-looking older man." She hated that robe. She thought it made him look 100 years old. So.
I mean, it didn't do him any favors,
No.
you know? Yeah, it looked comfy, but not. Hey, but maybe this is Libby. I think she's into the whole just older guy thing in general. I think the robe just.
Well,
she didn't, you know.
Yeah, before Libby comes into the room,
Mm-hmm.
we teased it earlier. So as we said, we think the characters are kind of supposed to be 60 for Woody and 30s, early 30s for the characters. The actors are spread out by only 12 and 13 years.
Seriously?
Yes. So Robert Mannion is, I believe, 12 years older than Kathy Lee.
How old is he in this?
I think he's 51 and they're 38 or something. Yeah, it's like no, he's not an old man. He's not a very old man, but he plays old, but he's not.
Yeah. Wow.
This is another version. And maybe it's different because we knew these actors.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not
it's a little different.
It's not much different than the guy, the old man dying into the bandstand, right?
Oh, that was so weird.
They definitely did not look the gap in age that they were trying to get to.
No, they love to play with the ages here.
Well,
they love it.
I just think they don't care when they're casting it, really.
Then they have to somehow make it work.
Yeah. But this was, and like we said, this is the rare man getting aged up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
yeah,
I don't think
you don't see it. You don't see it often. It's usually the woman a 28-year-old woman they make look like she's 45 years old.
So, of the people we've had on this season, what's the best casting to get your point across with this storyline? So I'm thinking businessman number one.
Good call.
Woody.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Estrada and Mackenzie Phillips. Let's do it that way.
It all works out. It's the same. They're interchangeable. Yeah. I could see Mackenzie Phillips. I almost think it works better that way.
Yeah.
Because I think Estrada comes off younger than Alan.
Right.
And interchangeable parts.
Comes off younger.
Yeah.
Then Catholic. There you go.
That's perfectly cast. Nicely done.
There you go. And it would be real world appropriate because wasn't Mackenzie Phillips like 18?
Yeah.
In that episode, and businessman number one was like 60 something. So there you go.
It would have been perfect. But they couldn't have used the line half your age. I mean, they could have used it, but it wouldn't have applied.
I'd like to think that we will be able to get those three into every storyline at some point.
Oh, I think with minimal twists and turns, we can make that happen. Absolutely.
Shout out to Alan Lumman or something. Lumley,
something like that.
Alan something. Okay. Libby rolls into the cabin to check on Woody. And after he protests a little bit, she tells him that she has feelings for him. The same spark that Woody has felt. So Woody asks, what about Adam? Or what about Alan?
Screw Alan. That's
poor Alan's getting shot. He's not even in the room.
And he's just outside the door listening too, because he's so mopey.
she's like, we're just friends. We went out a couple times, and anything more than that is just his imagination.
Hey,
Oof.
I mean, she's consistent. It's
Yeah.
not like we didn't see anything where she led him on to believe anything else than they were friends.
No, I agree. And they never, like we said, I thought that it was going to be more of a back and forth.
Yeah.
They never did that, and that's okay. Like that was, they, like you said, they were consistent.
I bet you it was a situation where she was talking to him going, "Hey, I'm going on this cool cruise." And then he immediately booked himself on the cruise and he's like, "Oh, so am I. I'm Alan. I'm everywhere."
I do like that. I do like that theory. It does make sense. And it's pretty consistent with him and how it went.
He's a creeper.
Well, guess what? These two lovebirds are going to smooch. But guess what?
Not for long.
Here comes Alan. So, that has got to be, although I will say the worst version of that is that you have no idea. He at least
knew he had
an inclination,
yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
There was no shock and awe in this, you know.
I got to think, if you're interested in a lady and you think you're doing okay, to get, to walk into that, it's got to be a tough one. There's going to be a lot of therapy that Woody is going to be paying for.
God, that would be. But at the same time, is it a dad's responsibility to keep it in his pants if his son is completely clueless? Like, do you put on kid gloves and you deal with Alan, right? Or but then it's like, what's more important, your relationship with your son or some girl you just met? You know,
based on how quickly they kind of buried the hatchet, I think you're right, and I think both of them knew that in the moment. I think it's okay to be taken aback.
Sure. Imagine if it's like the 5th time this has happened to Alan. Every time he starts dating someone new, here comes Woody in his robe.
Like prom. So.
Just every opportunity. Oh, that's funny.
Alan doesn't take this well. Basically calls his dad a dirty old man. And then...
How dare you?
And then he calls him a dirty old man and turns to leave. And I had to stop and rewind this a couple times to really get the sense of it. So he turns to leave, and Woody does the classic move where he grabs his left arm to pull him back towards him and pops him right in the face.
I'll say this. It was not a well-executed, choreographed slap. It was really bad.
The turn was better than the slap.
The turn was good. The slap was like, he waited till he was right here, and he was just like, smack. I was like, what is that? But yeah, the turn was impressive. The smack.
Mike, that was the first time he's ever hit his son in anger.
He seemed to have the spin move down pretty well. It's not the first time he smacked somebody like that.
He didn't say it was the first time he spun him around. Like
no. I spin him around 3 times a day. I just never smacked him till today.
Libby's like, I got to go.
Yeah, this is
you all are crazy.
You guys are nuts.
No,
Jerry Springer show. Yeah.
Act 4. Isaac and Doc greet Gopher with clothespins on their nose so we can convince him to get rid of that Macho Beast.
Macho Beast. That was great. Because the words didn't mean enough. They actually had to put clothespins on their nose. And he was finally like, oh, you don't like my cologne. No kidding.
I've ignored every comment everyone said.
No kidding, Gopher. Come on, man.
Steubing checks in with Isaac to see how the investigation into the pearls are going. Isaac's like, I don't think we have anything to worry about. And Steubing's like, now I can tell you what I've known all along.
Why wouldn't he share that in the beginning?
To test.
Everything's a freaking test with Steubing. Open these cashews. Test. Where's your receipt? Funny. Test.
If I didn't know any better, and if this was a better show, it does feel like the kind of thing you would do where they're eventually going to groom Isaac to be the captain.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just does get more responsibilities, like real responsibilities. And Steubing seems to have a lot more respect for him than he does for Gopher.
He really did, just as in interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, he treats him way more respectfully.
Yeah. Yeah. On the deck, Fred asks Christine to stay with him and not in the tub, and then he heads off
in a hurry.
Yeah, to find them some drinks. Some of those, what was it? Cream de mint
frappes. Oof.
Should have made a couple of those. Should have made a couple of those and some chicken Marengo for the Christmas special.
I happen to have a finished chicken Marengo right next to me.
I've been prepping it all day. Hold on.
Oh.
All right. So as Fred runs off, he intercepts Gopher, who's about to chuck the cologne into the sea. And so he takes that with him, which I'm sure will woo Christine something fierce.
Oh, yeah. And don't put on a little. Macho Beast is something you got to put a lot of on, you know?
No, I'm the Macho Beast. I'll put on all this Macho Beast cologne for you.
Awful.
Isaac finally balls up and asks Stephanie about the pearls as they are walking by the closed up gift shop. And she's like, "Bitch!"
She is pissed. She calls the Pacific Princess a jive ship. I was like, I don't even know what that means.
She walks in, produces the earrings that she had put aside for the nameless lady, tells Isaac he knows where to put those earrings and his job.
Yeah, but they specifically told her to keep those expensive items locked up. So I didn't understand, like, her anger. Like, what? They're right here. And be like, yeah. Why are they right here? Yeah. I mean, the jive ship thing, I think she just threw me off. I'm all confused now. I don't know what a jive ship is.
I knew I'd get nailed.
Oh, yeah.
On this jive ship.
Just jive ship. Okay.
I'll tell you one thing, man. Isaac gets buried in these episodes.
Dude, they call him a... What do they call him? A
jive turkey, right?
Yeah. What is jive? Is jive like bullshit? Is that what that is?
I think so. I mean, won't we find out later? Doesn't Stubing ask that question at the end?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. No spoiler alert here.
Fred is waiting for Christine to come out of the bathroom. And here comes Christine, and she is made under.
Yeah, who is this? Who is this person?
She's gotten rid of the boa. She's got rid of the heavy
Poodle
makeup.
Hair. Yeah,
all the curls and the pearls.
How'd she get rid of it? Rid of the freaking poodle curls so fast?
Get a shower? She slept in the tub all night.
I don't know. Was that a wig? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how curls work. So
no idea. But anyway, Fred's like, Christine, you're beautiful, and so she's like, go get dressed for bed. So he runs in, and this is where he starts just bathing himself in Macho Beast.
Macho Beast.
Yeah.
He is so hopeful. He's like, I am going to put it on Christine. He's like, right. I'm going to rock Christine's straight-haired world, like you wouldn't believe.
This is where we get the quick apology on the deck from Woody and Alan. They're going to settle it
over drinks, over brandy.
Brandy, classic father-son drinks. So all
is that blackberry? Well. I think it's blackberry brandy. You know, if they're really classing
blackberry
it up.
Brandy, I would be okay with that apology. If it's regular brandy,
no, thank you.
Yeah, entire storyline.
It's just tiring.
All these, honestly, the two storylines are weird. The Woody and Alan storyline is wild. The Fred and Christine storyline is wild. It's just there's a lot going on.
The jive ship, and she's trying to. Yeah, it's.
So now that Fred has bathed himself in Macho Beast, and he goes back to the bed, and Christine's like, "Good night," and he's like, "But Christine, I love you."
Yeah,
and she's like, "I love you too, Fred," like a brother.
I guess she didn't get a good whiff of that Macho Beast, or that would have been a very different conversation.
This is like the friend zone Christmas spectacular. This is just
it's
like
the worst.
Two guys who just got absolutely the one guy gets faced by his dad, and the girl basically says that you're imagining everything. The other one says you're a brother, which is almost worse.
That's
right?
terrible.
Like,
That's terrible. Yeah.
Bad
Yeah.
times. Bad times for love on this boat. All right, let's see. Back in Stubing's office.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, there are no nuts to open. We're only opening up the crime investigation.
There you go.
Isaac comes in. And before he can even really say anything, well, actually, I guess Isaac at least said that, he felt bad for asking, and Stubing said he was just following orders. So Stubing, again, gives him like an out for that.
Consistent, and good leader. Yeah.
But really, it doesn't last that long because Stephanie comes in and confesses that she did, in fact, steal the earrings, and the only thing she did was went back and put them back. So at that point, I think we all assume that it's over for Stephanie. That's to the
what
clink.
I thought. Yeah, who's the jive turkey now?
Who's the jive ship? But Stubing's like, the only thing you need to do is go to work and do inventory.
Bravo, Meryl. Bravo.
Which is great, except I guess that means she's staying on the boat after everybody else is off. That sucks.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
So do you think if Nancy Walker had stayed on the boat a couple weeks ago, like, is she using the gift shop? Is that like her local deli?
Oh, yeah. She's getting everything from there. Yeah. She's getting, she's walking in going, do you guys have boar's head? Immediately.
And she's lousy with pearls.
She got no time for pearls, but she loves gold guts. Yeah, no, she's not. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, Isaac does get called a jive turkey again as Stephanie goes to work. And this is where Stubing asks, Isaac, what is a jive turkey?
Dude, I hope that the episode ended right there. It would have been great.
I mean, it basically did.
Yeah, it pretty much did. There was a couple more things, but then that's... boy.
In a show filled with pointless Act 5s, this is probably
it's the worst.
Pointless as it gets. Fred is chasing Christine through the lobby down the steps, proclaiming his love for her, asking him to marry him. She starts to do the fake sneeze as they head out the door. I still don't quite understand what happened.
I don't thing. Yeah.
Gopher is hitting on Libby as they leave, but Woody says, can't do that. She'll be a mother in 2 weeks. And he's like, well, you don't look pregnant. And then he's like, no, my mother. And it's Alan. Poor Alan. Just the final emasculation of Alan Billingsley.
Imagine one of his buddies at home, because, he didn't do any like ship to shore calls. Hey, Alan, how was the trip? What's going on with that Libby girl? I know you wanted to sing. Oh, damnedest thing, man. She fell in love with my dad, and they got married about 3 days ago. She's my mom now. Merry Christmas. Just the worst.
God bless us, everyone.
Oh, yeah, and Alan has not stopped drinking to this day.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
God. Oh, that is awful.
And just to talk like that. Oh, she'll be my mom. Alan, just do yourself a favor. Go jump off the side of this boat right now. Just end it.
Oh
God.
King of the Mountain. Let's do totals and a recap here. Best episode so far this season is episode 3. That's with the cruise ship Casanova and Captain Dave. The worst episode so far of season 2. That is episode 13, Pepito.
I gotta tell you, man. In my opinion, this is worse than Pepito. At least we had a drinking game to follow. This is terrible. I was watching this episode, and I've been biting my lip about this the entire time. This is awful. Like, this is really, really bad. The stories were bad. It moved quick because nothing happened. I would rather watch the Pepito episode 3 more times than to ever watch this hunk of garbage ever again. It's the worst. It might be the worst episode ever.
Wow.
Yeah, I really didn't like it.
Not expecting that. I'm not saying it's good. I just thought it was kind of harmless.
I do agree that it was harmless in that way, but I just felt like it was just a milquetoast, nothing episode. You know what I mean? Like, it just, it flew by. There was no
Yeah.
substance to it. There wasn't. It was
Oh, I
just
agree. I
terrible.
agree. It's not one you're going to think about very often.
No, I
Very
mean maybe
forgettable.
I would, in my opinion, I think this one's a little bit worse than the Pepito.
Wow, that is an interesting
Whew.
conversation.
God,
That is
it's
pretty good.
bad.
Well, I will say the argument with that is not about Pepito. It's about the fact that there was a really good Dabney Coleman
Exactly.
in
That
there.
that's exactly what I was going for. It was like that. If I had to go like redeeming qualities, this episode versus that one,
Yeah,
Dabney trumps this
and
episode.
I guess I liked the father son story probably more than you did. But I understand not.
It's just it's not that I didn't like the story. I think again that's one of the three stories. If that's the story, I feel like you got to have something else, some more meat on the bone with another good storyline,
Yeah, I thought they needed to have a better third story, like a lighter
like a funnier
one.
one, sort of.
Like I think that awful Fred Christine thing needed to be like a lot lighter and just comedy,
I agree.
not whatever the hell that thing was.
I agree. Who was that reporter? Remember that reporter from last season with Gopher, and she ended up hooking up with
Oh,
her.
O'Rourke.
Like she brought so much, like that type of,
Yeah,
and maybe that's kind of what they did with the Macho Beast sort, mini fourth storyline. Maybe it was
yeah,
comic relief,
yeah.
but
That's a good point.
I
Yeah,
just,
that's interesting.
oh,
Well, I will put it on the board. We will carry those two together because I don't know that we have a clear answer between the two
yeah,
of us. But
it's in the running. I'll say that, and I will
no,
say it's normally I watch these 3 times. I couldn't, man. I watched it twice, and I was like, all right, let me get. And I was like, my body was just like, no, I couldn't grab the remote. My arm was like, we're not watching that crap again. I'm sorry.
I think the thing
So
that got me with the difference between the episodes I disliked the most is I didn't hate any of the storylines. There's I mean, trust me, I did not like that Fred Christine storyline, but there are those ones where like I all caps hate it.
it. I don't think it's. I did say I hated the episode, but to clarify, it's just there was nothing there.
Yeah.
There was nothing. Like it was just nothing.
Well, it's like
So
we're almost running into that now in the back end of the season, right? Because
yeah,
we had the hallmark of the first half of the season was one great storyline, two garbage storylines.
that's right.
Now we're running into this thing where it's like there's nothing egregiously bad, but there's nothing that great either.
Right.
So just a lot of singles.
So it's like it doesn't. It's weird because when you look at it that way, it's like, well, does a bad episode equal something like this where there's just no oomph to it,
Right.
or is bad mean like offensive, not offensive, but I don't know. It's a weird line, but I definitely think this is in the running for worst of season 2. We'll see.
Captain of the week.
Captain of the week for me is going to go to Captain Steubing.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there.
I like the way that him giving Stephanie another chance at the end, despite the fact he knows like what she did. I just liked it. I thought it was a nice positive light, for him. And I didn't like that he couldn't open the peanuts, but at the end of the day, I thought he gets my vote for Captain of the Week.
You're not wrong there. I am going with Alan Billingsley himself, Randolph Mantooth. And I'm doing this more for the actor.
For Randolph, right?
than
Not Alan?
than the character
Okay.
itself. I just thought there was a lot to play there. That could have been a lot of different things, but I think he did hit all the stuff. You know who he reminded me of? In part was who's that guy that you liked? Mike from season 1, who told that woman see you around and then he left, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Mantooth was that guy in certain scenes, but then he was kind of the aggrieved son in other scenes. And then he was the, basically devastated drunk in it. There's a lot of stuff here. I thought he did a good job. Layers that you don't normally get on this show. I thought it was pretty
I
good.
agree. And I do think that there's that. acting wise, I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Special note to, I always like Robert Marsden. I'm a huge fan of him. Stephanie, I thought was really good. Just,
she was good.
That's something where you're saying a lot of lines that would look pretty bad if you didn't do them well.
I agree. She was believable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Woody's robe, obviously, another good one. Walk the plank, worst of the week.
Alan the character. Just
yeah.
Just Alan the character. The guy misreads relationships, thinks something's like, it was just weird, and then it was just weird. He just drank, and the thing is, he didn't even give himself a fighting chance. Like, not that it was really a competition, but he didn't even speak up or show personality, or the only time he showed sort of attention that we saw was like, hey, let me go back into your room. I know I haven't talked to you all night and I'm hammer smashed, but let me go into your room, and then tomorrow I'll come in my room and I'll, you can skip. He's just weak sauce, Alan.
The interesting thing is in the retelling, right? It's like, technically, if it wasn't for him and what he did, his father may never have found love after the death of his mom.
That's a good point. What a better synopsis that would have been.
What a hero.
Yeah.
Alan is.
Hero. Alan the...
I went with the whole Fred and Christine story.
I get that. I can't argue with that.
Partially because it was just wild in terms of, all that stuff. But I still don't really understand it. Like, I don't
either.
I know on paper it's basically woman likes man so much that she drives him crazy and he needs to leave. And then she leaves, he gets what he wants, but then it turns out he wants her. Like, I know that's what that was, but I don't know. It was just a weird way of getting there.
It's a very Pepe Le Pew sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't want you if you want me, but now that you don't want me, I want you. So I'm going to chase you. They took turns being Pepe Le Pew. It was just weird.
And in a way, and I don't need this all the time. In fact, most of the time I don't. But in a way, by them not ending up together, it made it weirder.
100%, because there was no... What was the point of this?
Yeah. Like,
you came on the boat. It's weird.
He says one thing. She has to come to Jesus, but then she doesn't like him at all. Like...
There's a lot of weird, they tried to fit a lot in that story, but in the end, the story didn't go anywhere.
No. And it's a good advertisement that, just talk to each other. Same thing with Isaac and Stephanie. Just be direct.
Well, maybe that's the Christmas part. Can't we all communicate a little better?
That's true.
That's true.
It's you there. What day is this? It's the day to start talking to each other.
That's right.
Anyway, that's Totals and Recap for this week.
Let me check the old mailbag. No email. All right. Go right ahead, sir. Anything to plug? Any messages to share?
Trying to think. I did not. We do have a lot of chatter on the Instagram lately.
Excellent.
Really appreciate everybody's feedback in the reels and the messages. We will be digging up some of those in future episodes. Shout out to our friend Helen, who sent us some interesting things from a department store in Canada in the 70s, where you can get things that you can make drinks such as cold duck. And you could really have your own Love Boat bar playset. I don't know if it was the Pirates Cove, but thank you very much, Helen. Always love hearing from our Canadian friends, and I love hearing about a Canadian department store. So that is always great. So yeah, keep commenting. We love hearing from you guys. There's a lot of good stuff there. In fact, we will save this for next episode, but we got some feedback on our last episode 40. That was very interesting, and I'd like to maybe discuss that when we have a little more room to roam. So thanks everybody for chiming in there. So
anything to plug, Mike?
You can listen to Absolutely Hammered every week. That is on the Hitting Season Patreon, where we talk about baseball and the Phillies and other nonsense. So yeah, check that out.
Excellent. You can find us everywhere and anywhere you find your audio podcasts. Here's the list. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM, and my favorite, Deezer. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It really, really helps. You can also check out our video podcast on YouTube. And again, hit that subscribe button and leave a review. And you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates.
Yeah, and I would like to also mention, we do love all the comments and all the feedback we get, but the reviews do help. We love that so many of you have found the show. We'd love for more people to find the show. It's a weird little niche that we have here, probably more than we expected, but we're proud of what we're doing here. So if you can leave a review or a rating, we do appreciate it. Don't leave a bad rating.
No, obviously. Don't do that. Why would you do that?
Who would do that?
Like, why bother?
Yeah, exactly. Next week will be our last episode of 2024, and it is a doozy. It is a two-parter, which stars Raymond Burr as a disgruntled former teacher of Julie McCoy, who shows up for Julie McCoy's high school reunion.
Oh, boy.
These two-parters are always nuts because it's 4 storylines. There's usually some intense padding because it's 2 hours. We have seen, this will be our third two-parter?
Yeah, third two-parter.
The first one had about 10 minutes of Gavin MacLeod chasing himself. The second one had an entire episode on a different part on an island.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So
2 words really for this next episode coming up, because I have looked ahead. Those 2 words are Bob Denver. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait a minute. I did not know that.
Let me give you my full look ahead here. Stubing helps an English teacher conquer his alcoholism.
I think that's Raymond Burr.
Okay. And then we meet a draft dodger. And we welcome Mr. Denver and Mr. Burr to the podcast. I love Bob Denver. Cannot get enough. Dobie Gillis. I love Bob Denver. I am so excited.
It's our third Love Boat or third Gilligan's Island.
Ginger. Yeah. And
I feel like that might be. I guess Dawn Wells could show up, but it's like I don't even know how long Lovey was acting.
I don't know.
You never see
the professor. You don't see the professor in anything.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love Bob Denver, and I'm going to call the shot now. He's going to be amazing. He's Bob Denver. Come on.
I'll be curious. Because it's like, is he going to play like against type?
That's what I was going to say. He'll be in some serious.
Is it going to be like the Robert Reed of this season or whatever?
The man with no sense of humor or something like
that.
I
tell you, Raymond Burr's got some real gravitas. I'll be fascinated to see.
I love Raymond Burr.
Especially if that's the storyline with Stubing, because that means we get to see him just throw Stubing around for a while.
He's gonna act circles around Stubing, by the way.
I tell you something, Captain, I've been on this boat for 3 hours and I haven't seen you do anything yet. So it's gonna be a lot of that. So.
I bet you Burr will join him for those donuts. I guarantee it. Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
that wraps up our Christmas episode. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. We will be back the couple days before New Year's, but everybody who's listening, please enjoy your holiday season. Make sure you get as much Macho Beast under the tree as you possibly can.
All of it. And chicken Marengo.
The true holiday meal. So, but yeah, anyway, thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.